Alrighty, guys. Hello and welcome back to the show. Got a cast on the cards for you today, going down on Adaptive Fate 20 by 20 map. I've actually never played on this map before or seen it actually before either, so this should be pretty interesting. Good amounts of reclaim on the map. We've got 36,000, 37,000 K reclaim on the field. This is a 4v4 team matchmaker. I am joined by the lovely Function. Function, would you like to introduce yourself real quick?
Hi, yeah, I'm Function. Call me Sam if you like. I recently started casting again. I've put out a few videos, and Duelist has very kindly offered to do a couple of duo casts with me. Very grateful.
Yep, so this is the one that's going to go up on my channel. There's going to be another going up on his channel as well. So make sure you check out his channel if you want to see the other flip side of our dual cast. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and turn our attention to what's going on in this game. We'll go ahead and introduce our players. We're going to call Team 1 up at the top, Team 2 down at the bottom. Starting with the rear guard air position, we have a Catholic noob, which is really funny because we casted a bunch of noobs in our game that we casted just a couple minutes ago. He's going Cybran, opening first land. Got a series of power generators lined up. I would imagine those are for air factories in the future. To his east, we have Cough, who's going Cybran, who's opening first land, or not Cybran, Seraphim. What the hell am I talking about? Going first land. To his south, we have Alligator 96, who's going a Cybran, opening first land. I'm assuming 96 is the year that he was born, which would make me older than him, and so I will claim that as a point of dominance. And lastly, to the south, we have Mr. Assassin, who's also going Cybran, opening first land. Got to work on the Hydro, and let Function introduce team number 2.
Cool, so let's start with the yellow player, Memetilium, playing yellow UEF. Over to the rearguard air position, we've got Leroy Jenkins.
Love it.
Or Jenkins, if you like, playing red UEF. We've got in the pink UEF on the front position, pink Aeon, Fortnite Swag. And then over at the south, playing white Cybran, is Noble Ice.
I would assume that there's going to be some bad stuff in the cards here for Fortnite Swag. I think that most people hate Fortnite as it is, but
yeah. The only person I know that plays Fortnite is my girlfriend's 10-year-old cousin. Maybe he's 12. Yeah. Shout out to him. He might actually be watching this video now that I think about it.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Hi, Flynn.
I played Fortnite a couple of times with my wife. This is actually not a lot of people know this, but this is actually the second YouTube channel that I've actually tried. One was at another channel with my wife that was centered around Dota, Defense of the Ancients, but we did cool. A Fortnite video as well, and it was terrible. It was we ended up not even publishing it because she and I got so angry at each other whenever we were playing
it. Oh man. I used to play a ton of PUBG. I don't know if you played any of that. That was kind of the first big battle royale game. It kind of started off the genre.
I have not. I've heard a lot about it though. As really two forward, most players are mirroring each other's movements, moving out towards the center. But this is a pretty big map, 20 by 20. There's a good amount of ground to cover between these two teams, just from a land perspective. We also got an airdrop going in from Memeliti. That is a hard name to say, you're right, but it's
Memetilium?
Memetilium. We're going to call him the Meme Lord.
Memes.
Yes.
Meme Lord, I like it.
He's got a whole little drop queue going all through the northern and southern side. I guess Function, as far as you're concerned, where do you think are the big points of contention that players will be fighting over most of the time in this game?
So I'm expecting to see quite a lot of Navy on this game, where you've got a central island with Navy going all around the outside. It's kind of polarized. You tend to either see no Navy at all or a ton of Navy. I'm expecting to see a lot of Navy because you can get cruisers in and just annihilate the enemy's mexes quite easily.
Yeah, 3 of the 4 players on each team. Of course, vulnerable to cruiser, even destroyer fire almost, with both of the front players as well as the rearguard air position. And actually, on the southern side, we're seeing some naval commitment come in now from the Meme Lord as well as Noble Ice. And on the northern side, looks like Mr. Assassin's getting into the Navy, and as well as
Actually, I think I
Koff.
casted a game recently with Mr. Assassins, although I can't remember if I published it or not. But yeah, I remember he went Cybran. That was on Africa 4v4.
It's a very common name, I would say, for Cybern players with their stealth nonsense and everything. You could almost call their commander Altair, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
nice. Yeah, so Noble Ice dropping a couple of engineers over onto this southwest island. Cthulhu Noob has already dropped a couple of his own. He's got a mech starting a factory. I would honestly recommend starting the factory first, because as you can see, Noble Ice was miles behind in terms of dropping the engineers, but is almost gonna beat him to the factory. Yeah, he has actually.
yeah, and I think the factory is way more important as far as dropping, just because if your engineers die and you have a mechs, you're kind of shit out of luck at that point. But if you do have a factory,
Yeah.
you can at least maintain a presence.
Hmm.
And now we're starting to see lab spam come out from Noble Ice's factory as well. I'd expect to see those labs going north. But meanwhile, Leroy Jenkins going straight into that nest of whatever it was in that video with several engineers as well. And he's going
Yeah,
to be, not sure what he's doing.
I'd give him about a 33.33 repeating, of course, percent chance of success.
Nah, fuck that shit. Leroy Jenkins. All right.
Damn it, Leroy.
Okay, so Fortnite Swag taking a bit of a battering on the front line. Alligator as well as Catholic Noob on the front
Just
lines
call him
with their
Noob.
commander. No, it's Catholic Noob.
Oh God, it's an absolute mouthful.
Call him
Um,
K-Bar. K-Bar as well as Alligator on the front lines. Gun range coming in now from Fortnite, so I would imagine gun speed soon to follow. Meanwhile, on the northern side, we do have Meme Lord as well as Koff making some expansions of their own. And actually, Leroy not moving his commander out of his base to support any of his front players, and I think that that's going to put Fortnite Swag at a little bit of a disadvantage, much like the game is at a disadvantage in and of itself with its very construction.
yeah, yeah, I agree on both points. But in terms of this game, I think it is a pretty big mistake. Even though I can understand his hesitancy. It's a 20k map, so it takes ages to bring the commander out. But I think it is a disadvantage.
Yeah,
Commanders are just so important early in the game.
early on, yes. Later in the game, they're still important. 'Cause you lose if they die.
Yeah.
But gun range for Fortnite just now wrapping up. Not sure if he was power stalling. That seemed to be taking him 77 seconds. That was a relatively long gun upgrade, but does have overcharge available to his disposal. Is going to shoo away some of those Medusa now from Alligator. We do
Hasn't
have another
started the
little.
speed upgrade just yet.
No, he hasn't. Working with just the range actually right now.
Yeah, using those overcharges though. And he's got vastly superior numbers, so he is just going to be able to roll over this forward base. Two enemy commanders. If it was just the T1 units, two enemy commanders could defend the base, but because Fortnite is joining those units, I think T1 are going to have to retreat.
Yeah, Fortnite though overextending his units going to take some unnecessary losses there. K-Bar dropping down and into the yellow, and that's going to mean that Fortnite, I think, is going to maintain control of this forward position.
Yeah, and we were saying in the last recording that we did that it's quite important to win these small early skirmishes by something of a wide margin, so that you can sort of set up a defensive perimeter around this mass field that's just been created and get some of that reclaim.
That is very true. Did want to call attention to the northern corner, where the
Hmm.
north eastern corner, where Koth has dropped an engineer and set up a PD.
Nice.
It's going to be annoying there for the meme lord to deal with.
Yeah, no Lobos out. Oh, one Lobo's just rolled off there. So it's going to slowly tickle away at that PD.
He'll be able to clear that out.
Yeah. We've
Gun
got it.
speed now on the way for Fortnite, and T2 on the way for Alligator as well.
Nice. Looks like sorry, K-Bar is retreating his comm a bit further back. He did go down into the yellow, so he wants to keep his commander safe. We've actually got a T2 gunship from K-Bar right at the top left, but Leroy, I guess, dropped some engineers and took control of those two mexes up there.
Oh,
So,
that's where that drop was going.
oh yeah, he dropped. I don't think he dropped any on this bottom left side. I think he dropped them all up on that top left side.
Yeah, cheeky little stealth steal of the enemy's mexes. He will have gotten value out of that, considering I think a mex is, I think it's 60 mass. Is that right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I think
Either
so.
60 or 90. I can't remember off the top of my head, but either way, he
think it's
maintained
60,
control
yeah.
of that.
Yeah, I think I remember that T1 mexes pay for themselves in mass in 30 seconds, and they produce 2 mass a tick.
So that'd be 60. That's right.
And you can't say that if you look at the econs, Team 2 about 10k total mass ahead, so possibly partly due to that 2 mex difference that Leroy had.
Nope, all 10,000 comes from just those two mexes. I will not argue this point.
Think about it, it's kind of a 4 mex difference really, because he had his own 2 mexes and he was denying 2 mexes from the enemy, so it's not insignificant.
That is true.
Land engagement going on now.
Yeah, we got Mr. Assassin with the gun upgrade, as well as Alligator. He's got T2 as well as Stealth on his commander. Drops a Cerberus turret up at the front. That's going to force Fortnite Swag to either build something right in front of himself if he's got the resources for it, or he's going to have to pull back, or he's just going to go in. And I don't think that the T1 units are going to be up to the task of dealing with the Cerberus as well as the Cybern gun com.
No, definitely not. 2 Cerberuses down now. Already started on the reclaim with their T2 engineer. I like to see it.
And Fortnite taking fire from the Cerberus did prioritize down one. Alligator's rebuilding it over the wreck.
Yeah,
But
making really good use of those overcharges.
yeah, but Fortnite's going to get pushed off now that he's got 2 comms in his face.
Oh yeah, and he's a pretty dangerous situation here. He's not got a ton of nearby units. He's got a nice stream of units slowly rolling off, but he's actually say he's kind of walking in the wrong direction. I think in these situations, my recommendation would be just walk directly towards your friendly units and meet them in the middle, rather than trying to walk directly away from the enemy.
I think he just dies here if Mr. Assassins continues.
Yeah.
Mr. Assassin, well, they might mutual actually. Mr. Assassins needs to be careful, and in fact, Fortnite realizes this and is actually going to take the mutual with Mr. Assassins.
Yeah. There he goes. Is it 2k damage? I think that the ACU explosion does.
2.5.
2.5. Okay.
A noob like me, whenever I have to play against 1600 and 1700 level players, I've got that number down pat. I know exactly when to control K to take out somebody who's better than me.
Got it locked in. Yeah.
But K-Bar does make another appearance on the scene. This being a 4v4 matchmaker game, full share is on, so Alligator does inherit Mr. Assassin's base and all of the assets and liabilities that come here forthwith. All right, I tried to sound
Forthwith?
yeah, I tried to sound sophisticated and it backfired on me.
No, I liked it. I enjoyed it.
Then we've got a couple of Renegade gunships out from K-Bar in the middle, as well as some interceptor coverage. Leroy moving in with his own interceptors to try and put up a little bit of a denial there, but you should be able to mop up those interceptors.
Yeah, K-Bar actually going to have to retreat with those renegades. Yeah, we can see if you look down at what Noble Ice is doing, he's got a whole ton. That's what, 8, 4, 5, 6, 7. A bunch of navy factories at the bottom there. Similar number up here, well, just 5 there for K-Bar. So more mass investment going into the navy side of things for Team 2. We'll see if it pays off.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because you're seeing K-Bar, who's technically the air player, going into the naval game, and he's even got, I think, Tech 2 up. So, what do you think that's going to do as far as naval or as far as air control goes?
I mean, well, actually, we can see exactly what it's doing now. We've got T3 units rolling off of Leroy's air factories. We've got a ambassador, that T3 strat bomber, flying over, and I don't think there are even any T2 units, no, so that ambassador is going to be able to do whatever the hell it wants for quite some time. Takes out a really nice bomb placement there. You don't have to right click directly on a structure with the strat bombers. You can target the ground, and the AoE there is taken out 2 mexes.
Yeah, I see that going down again. Strat down to under 1,000 HP, though. Interceptor is doing a surprisingly good job at keeping up. Usually a Strat can outrun Interceptors relatively easily, but it'll be 4 mexes down as well as a T2 power generator. No, actually the Hydro for K-Bar in the background. So not the most value you'd get out of a Strat, but, better than nothing.
Yeah, definitely. And if you're the first person to produce T3 air, I think it's completely reasonable to go for that strat play.
On the northern side as well, we do have T2 Navy, Valiant class destroyer, tangling with Koff's T1 flotilla. We do have a destroyer actually rolling in from Koff, just from the north there.
Yeah, Koff also putting some mass into a cruiser, but there are 2 destroyers on Meme Lord's side, which you would expect will give Meme Lord the advantage in the Navy. When it comes to the Navy, I certainly when I play, I prefer to go for submarines and destroyers before I build any cruisers or anything like that. Just make sure you're completely dominating the Navy game before you try and produce those Navy to land units.
Well, I think it depends on what the other naval player is doing. If you're competing for Navy, then definitely want to have destroyers and chill out the destroyers a little bit. But then if you're kind of dominating the Navy and you scouted there's no naval factories, then I think going cruisers right off the bat's a good idea.
Yeah, fair enough.
Meanwhile, we didn't talk about this, but with Fortnite Swag vacating the game, which is actually a pretty good trade, 1,300 or almost 1,400 for a 600,
Yep.
that does leave Meme Lord in control of the south and central, or the north and central positions. So he's having to play double duty here.
Yeah, so he's got basically full control of the land and half of the Navy. So for just an 800 rated player, that's quite a lot of APMs to be spending.
Meanwhile, the beneficiary of Mr. Assassin's leaving was Alligator, who's a 1,600 level player. So kind of the exact opposite, where you've got your higher level player actually getting more eco.
Yeah, so definitely not a good trade for Team 2.
But as far as air goes, Leroy Jenkins got several ASF up, and are we at T3 air? Okay, so we are at T3 air for K-Bar. I don't see any ASF. Maybe I'm missing them.
Nope, don't think so. I think that air factory is actually idle at the minute while he produces a T3 power generator, which is just about to come online. There it goes.
Ah, gotcha. So Leroy running the show here with ASF going up against Interceptors. Leroy Jenkins, incidentally, he used to go by the name of Kappa Senpai, I think was his name originally. And I think my very third ladder game was against him. And then, we've become like ladder rivals, so to speak. But he's like 1300 on the ladder now, so he beats the shit out of me every time I play against him.
It's quite nice to have someone like that who kind of challenges you. You can improve alongside them. I feel like that's quite a nice thing to have.
Yeah, I thought I was the absolute shit at ladder. I was like, I could take anybody on, and I saw an 1800 level, like in a custom game that was like, hey, 1v1 me, I'm de-rusting, and I was like, oh yeah, let me put on my big boy pants here real quick.
Yeah.
I'll take you down, and then he absolutely wiped the floor with me. It was really funny.
Yeah. Yeah. So I used to play quite a lot of League of Legends, and you know I've thankfully broken that addiction now. I'm in the recovery stage. Um, but yeah, I was for a long time I was one of those players that was like, if I could just get better teammates, I know I could play like a diamond player. And then you watch a diamond player actually play, and they're miles ahead of anything that you can do.
Yeah, there's a lot of that in this game. Like, one of the things that I've noticed is that there's two types of high-rated players. There high-rated players that kind of shit on their lower-rated teammates and make them play worse, and then there are high-rated players that elevate their lower-rated teammates. Which, yeah, I didn't mean to take what you said and turn it into a very real talk kind of moment, but I think it's something that is true for pretty much every game.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think it comes with any community that is sort of made up by nerds like us. We find something that we're really passionate about. That's what it means to be a nerd, really. You're passionate about something, and some people kind of go a little bit overboard, which is a shame. But it comes with the territory, I think.
Meanwhile, Tech 3 on the way for Alligator set up a new fire base, new line of defense, got several Cerberus turrets, and is now beginning to encroach on Meme Lord's position. There are a few Oblivion turrets set up in response, but depending on how Alligator plays it, he could break those pretty easily. Needs to bring up these bricks, though. Is it Tech 3?
Yeah, 4 bricks there. Bricks are a really fantastic unit. They're pretty ugly, but in terms of quality, they're really, really strong.
Oh, you shut your mouth. They're not ugly. They're loving. They're lovable.
Just walking boxes. They're so weird. But yeah, I mean, high DPS, and they're, unlike Percival's or sniper bots, they have a high rate of fire, which means they can contend with sort of T1 and T2 spam pretty effectively.
Yeah, there's kind of been a little bit of a shift where I think the only reason you build loyalists is if you're Cybran, is if you're trying to get some faster moving units, because the bricks are still pretty slow, but otherwise there aren't a whole lot of advantages to loyalists outside of their fast moving and then the EMP abilities. And I guess they're cheaper.
Yeah.
Okay, there are advantages. Now I'm listing off all of them.
Yeah, so I went through basically the exact same journey in one of my recent casts. I was like, yeah, bricks are brilliant. Why would you ever build a loyalist? Well, I guess they do have that AMP, and they're cheaper, and they're faster. Okay, fine. It does make sense to build loyalists.
Meanwhile, Kappa noticed that he's got pretty much air control right now, and he's got broadswords out, harassing that forward force there for Alligator. 3 broadswords now being brought in, another 2 on the ball, taking out these units from Alligator, and Alligator's going to be forced to turn tail and run.
Yeah, there were a couple of bouncers. There's one just rolled off the production line there, the T3 mobile anti-air for the Cybran. But the broadswords targeted the first one, I think. Getting to work on the others. There you go. They've targeted the second one now.
Yeah, they're going to leave it with
alive, though.
broadswords show mercy. And on the northern side, Koth has now been fully pushed back into his base from a naval perspective. Does have,
Yeah.
I did say he does have a pretty good stance right now, but actually, Meme Lord is going to pull back. I think that's the wrong move. I think Meme Lord could crush him here.
I agree, and he's got gunships in the area. He's got ASF support if he needs it. If Leroy brought those broadswords up to that navy base instead of whatever he's doing now, pulling them back to his own base, you could take complete control of the navy on that northern side there.
Well, I think that he had so he had some destroyers. He saw Koff's destroyer. Koff submerged his destroyer. So why don't you talk to me a little bit about Coopers and their function within the UEF Navy for newer players out there?
Yeah, so I'm not the most experienced with Navy play, but I do exclusively play UEF. Coopers are kind of the bane of my life, to be honest. The UEF do not have a T2 submarine, so you have to build these torpedo boats, which are vulnerable to both torpedoes and line of sight frigate fire or destroyer fire. So they can be kind of annoying. They die pretty quick sometimes.
Yeah, but I think they deal pretty well with submerged units. So kind of in that situation, Meme Lord should have been able to just roll over him with just a
Yeah,
single submerged destroyer.
I think he's just being a little bit overly cautious. I think he doesn't want to lose any of his valuable navy units, which do represent a big mass investment. But I think you gotta bite the bullet. You've got to take that risk and fight forwards. But yeah, we've got a land engagement going on. The bricks and accompanying forces moving forwards.
Yeah, of course. They're overwhelming the T1 units there for Meme Lord. Meme Lord up to Tech 2 and producing Obsidians. Obsidians, as far as Tech 2 tanks go, trade pretty well with Tech 3 units, but obviously he needs some of them on the field, and I don't see any in this particular vicinity.
No.
Oblivion turrets are going to get overrun, and now Central Manufacturing going to be under threat. We do see broadswords now just getting scrambled from Leroy. And that's going to be, I think, the saving grace here for Meme Lord, but need to deal with those bouncers. Though I think there's only one in that mix. And we do have T2 gunships now coming in from yellow as well. The rest of the broadswords are committed. Do need to focus on that bouncer, though, that I think is still alive in the middle. There it goes.
Yeah, so I think Alligator really needs to put a little bit more investment into those bouncers. If you had a couple more bouncers in that mix, you'd be in a much better position, because you've got basically no hope in the next 4 or 5 minutes of taking control of the skies. You've got to invest in those land to air mobile units.
Yeah, I think that, and then I would honestly just say Alligator go into air, and force it in a 2v1. You've got 2 bases. You can use it.
Yeah, it's true. Team 2 ahead significantly on economy now, about 60 mass ahead, 60k mass ahead. So.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. And not 100% sure where that's coming from. So we've got, as far as overall mass income, our chip leader is actually Alligator at 353. Leroy Jenkins in third with 220, followed by Meme Lord at just under 300. So yeah, 2 bases paying off there for Alligator, but maybe not paying off in as much as they could.
Yeah, I think they're a bit lucky that the lowest rated player on the other side has inherited the base. Meme Lord unfortunately has been stuck with about 1,000 jobs to do at once, and he's his team are kind of expecting him to do twice the work, which he's struggling with a little bit at the minute.
I think that though, I think he's doing okay.
Right, a little bit of overtalk there.
No, you're good.
Yeah, you're right. He's doing okay, and I think part of the reason that he didn't fully engage with those Navy forces in the top there was that his attention was a little bit split, which is completely fair. He's got a couple of SACUs out now, or one Rambo support commander on the front lines there. There's bricks coming in, destroying a lot of T2 factories.
Yeah, they'll be moving in though against the Ravagers, as well as T1 Army coming in from the north. We do have a lot of Stingers as well coming in, and broadswords from the south. So I don't think this army's going to actually get that much done. I think they're going to wash upon that fortress like water on rock.
I don't know. They could. There are some frontline T3 mexes here. If the bricks focus down those mexes, they might be able to get something done. Although the broadswords and the T2 gunships there, the stingers, are putting in some work, driving those bricks back.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think, a big problem there for team number 2 or team number 1 as far as like how do you actually break the yellow player, because like we talked about, he is the lower rated player, but I think he's playing really well, holding down the fort.
Playing above his rating, I think.
It goes into having a higher rated player that elevates lower rated players instead of further demeaning them.
Yeah, sure. And the trade-off is hasn't produced any T3 land units, but he has completed a Fat Boy, started work on a second one now. That will be able to put in a lot of work in terms of defending the base.
You love to see it. We also got a push from Noble Ice, who's been a little quiet this entire game, at least as far as I've seen. But he's now starting to push with some of that navy that he's built up. It does look like he's going to get routed by Alligator, who Alligator has actually gone into navy. He's got a battleship up, as well as K-Bar, who is focused more on navy instead of on air, with only a handful of ASFs out, I think.
Yeah, and I'm not so. Team 2 have done well to get a really strong grasp on the air game here. What do you think they should be doing to make more use of that? Because I don't feel like they're making the best use of their air advantage at the minute.
I would say that, so we do have T3 land on the field as far as production capabilities for the Meme Lord. I mean, I think that Leroy needs to ask for a T3 engineer and get a Czar up, is what I would say.
Yeah, nice.
Either that or Meme Lord goes for a Czar himself and then gives it to Leroy, because he does have the superior eco at this point.
Yeah, definitely.
They need an air experimental, I think, of some sort to utilize utilize this, as a Fat Boy now under pressure from T1 and T3 units in the middle.
Pulling back into range of those Ravagers. Keep an eye on that. Not a whole lot of hit points on the Fat Boy. One of the lowest hit point experimentals in the game, I believe. Sakyu about to go pop. We've got Leroy has produced some strat bombers, sort of in the central area, and they're going away at the. Actually, I'm not sure what they do. Excuse me, sorry about that.
No worries. You can see they're actually getting dove a little bit by K-Bar there, but K-Bar decides not to continue that, and Leroy actually shifts his strat bombers to the south, wipes a couple of bricks off the map with that.
And that land engagement sort of petering out a little bit. The Fat Boy, its shield never even got broken. A couple of bricks from Noble Ice helping out there, and I mean those Ravagers just putting in a lot of work, really.
Yeah, you gotta, if you're in Alligator's position, I think you've got to be going for a megalith or something like that instead of just T3 land.
Yeah, go for that long range siege capability that the megalith brings.
And on the northern side of the map, we do have another naval engagement. So Meme Lord and Koth have been kind of trading blows for most of the game here, as far as Navy goes. Koth going to once again be routed, running tail tucked between his legs back to the factories, which I don't know why it's like a pull back to the factories kind of thing, because factories don't do anything, but you know, it's a psychological thing. We got to run back to the Citadel.
Yeah, although he's actually looks like he might be pulling back to allow a sub hunter to get into range. The T3 submarines that the Seraphim have access to can put out a lot of DPS. Got 2 of them there.
Oh yeah, good shout. That sub hunter's going to work.
Yeah, lots of damage down there.
as I think something that I've always underestimated is the power of T2 and T3 subs for really everybody except for the UEF, as Meme Lord's Navy just gets wiped off the face of the map there.
Yeah. I'd like to see these. I think the air forces from Leroy possibly get brought up to help deal with the Navy units on the north there. I think two Fat Boys now, plus the Ravagers, they're going to be able to repel the majority of Team 1's land attacks. So potentially get those strat bombers up at the north, put them to work on this stalemate that's going on
I
in the Navy.
Yeah, strats aren't that great against naval units. I think that it's, as far as like mass invested, I think it'd be better if you just kept the strats for some sort of experimental that might come out to snipe, and then shifted to torp production, and then sent the
Yep.
torps up north.
Yeah, that's fair. Unfortunately, now that Fortnite's gone down, Team 2 doesn't have access to those Aeon T3 Torp bombers. They're going to have to make do with the T1, which is what they're doing. Meme Lord in the north, they're using the Storks, are they called? Yeah, T2 torpedo bombers to attack that navy that's coming in. Meme Lord completely out of T2 navy units.
So having to rely on some of the torpedo bombers, and something you said got me thinking. Whenever you said with Fortnite going down, they're not going to have any access to Aeon, but I think we also need to take into consideration all of the 10 to 12-year-olds that will no longer have access to their favorite video game of all time.
Yeah, it's a shame, but I think the world will move on. We've actually
No.
got a strategic missile sub out from Noble Ice. Plan B.
Really?
Yeah, tucked up in the little inlet bit there.
Oh yeah, there you go. These do have, I believe they do have tactical missiles as well as the nuke, if I'm remembering
Yeah.
correctly.
Are they manual fire, or are they like cruise missile fires?
That's
The
right.
attack missiles.
So you can see some of that firing off. Two Fat
Yep.
Boys now pushing out of Meme Lord's base. He's, of course, struggling with, I think he might be struggling with power. I'm not seeing shields on either of them. I'm not sure what could have caused the shields to go down. But they're not
Maybe.
regenerating.
Yeah, interesting. Looks like he's got power.
Oh, he does have power. Yeah, I could have just checked instead of hypothesizing. Nobody
we
comes
have
here
any-
for...
Do we have any strategic missile defense from Team 1 at the minute?
So there, we do have one in Kappa's base. We do also have a Stonager, strategic missile launcher. But I think that's it. I'm not seeing anything in Noble Ice's or the Meme Lord's base. So,
So the Stone Ager plus the Plan B, that missile submarine, once they get their missiles off, I think they're going to be able to get a lot of work done. There is a Guardian, there we go. Alligator's got a strategic missile defense.
oh, you said
in
Team
the
1. I apologize. He does have one in his fire base as well as his main base.
Yeah, and he's got missiles loaded in those as well, so...
And we do have a Liberator as well out from K-Bar. And he prioritizing that? No, he's not prioritizing it. So it looks like that actually just completed. Where are strats coming out from? Okay, so Plan B is 50%, and then we've got Stonager is actually nearly loaded here. Curious if Leroy fires that right away or if he hangs on to it for a rainy day.
Yeah, gonna have to get the scouting out so they can see where the SMDs are. They have scouted the forward one. They scouted the rear one as well, so they know that those are available. They don't know if there's missiles loaded into them. So I'm interested to see what they're going to go for with those nukes.
He might have just forgotten and not realized that it's loaded yet. I do that all the time.
Yep, true.
But strats on the move, as well as with an air screen. as far as where those are going, those are going straight in on the rear SMD for Alligator, which is shielded only by Tech 2 Cybern shield generators, which of course are
It's
the
full.
equivalent of a bubble that you would
Yeah.
blow whenever you're like 5.
Uh,
Strats are going to go out.
there it goes.
Yeah, that's going to take out the
Immediately
SMD.
goes down. Are we going to see that launch a fire?
Yep, there
Yeah,
it goes.
looks like we are.
Opens up like a beautiful flower and then blooms with a lovely payload. As far as where it's going, I would imagine it's going for, yep, it's going for Alligator's main base. So as far as critical stuff in this base, we've got, I think, all of his T3 power, no, most of his T3 power, as well as several T3 mexes. So I think he'll be able to recover, but he is dumping all of his mass right now frantically into another SMD, which will, of course, not be completed.
Yeah, a couple of factory HQs in the area as well, and I would imagine those are going to go pop.
That is true. It's going to be a lovely, beautiful explosion. I do like how the UEF, even though they're like, you know, supposedly thousands of years in the future, their nuke animation still looks like our nuke animation.
Yeah.
Like a mushroom cloud.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
Go ahead.
Don't know too much about the lore of Subcom. I don't know about you.
Very little. Let's not get into that because there'll be people that show up in my comment section that are like, "You said that wrong." So I'd rather just like.
Okay.
I'm just gonna admit that I know nothing. I'm not going to assume anything, and yeah. I have played through both of the campaigns, but
oh man, I think I played through the first campaign when I first got the game, but that was years ago, so I don't remember a thing about it.
that's essentially a doomsday weapon that everybody's trying to stop, and then the second campaign is about killing the Seraphim, and then the Subcom 2 campaign is about stopping some vaguely Russian guy who has, I think, Cybern.
Okay.
Yeah, who has a megalith, incidentally. No, wait, that's the first game. See, everybody. All right, I've done it. It's going to be all the hate in the comments now.
No. One of those fat boys has gone down. The other one is retreating in the face of some bricks and company moving forwards. Got SACUs in the area. Do a decent amount of damage, those support commanders.
There's that nuke, though, out from the Plan B. That might have been a panic nuke where Noble Ice is like, I'm about to lose my navy, so I might as well launch it, because he's launched it right into Alligator's SMD, which was scouted, so not going to be a productive nuke.
No, unfortunately not.
As Noble Ice's navy now gets surrounded, 2 galaxies going to go down to 2 galaxies and a bunch of frigates. And that's going to be it for Noble Ice's navy in the south. In the north, we've got torpedo bombers haranguing several aircraft carriers and battleships. Nope, just battleships, sorry.
Yeah, we've got T3 Navy from both sides there. We've got those Neptune battle cruisers for Meme Lord.
I think pretty smart, though, to use all of his destroyers as... I'm not sure whether that was a Control K that was in the middle, or whether something killed him.
I don't know about that.
Either way, K-Bar's out of the game. Oh! We now have... Okay, we completely missed this, but we've got Percival's from the Meme Lord. Now have penetration into Alligator's base. I did see a Continental. I saw a Continental earlier. Apparently those got loaded up with Percival's, and now things are falling apart really, really quickly for Team 1.
Yeah, wow. A nuke flying overhead.
That's going to take out the T3 HQ. There's nothing that is going to stop these Percivals either.
Yeah.
Actually, not going to take out the HQ.
Oh, yeah. It takes out all the build capacity in the area, which seems like a small thing, but it's actually fairly significant.
That is very true. As Alligator's commander in this front fire base now getting assaulted by a rather obese child, as well as several harbingers of doom.
Yeah, I like that Meme Lord is mixing it up with Harbingers and Percivals, as well as the Sakyus and the Fat Boy.
Nice, well-rounded army there. But Alligator's calm, under threat. I think that Meme Lord could just walk in and take it out, as Corsairs actually fire on the Fat Boy. Nope, they're not firing on the Fat Boy. Alligator running in 7 different directions now, much like I'm trying to do while I'm casting, as
Yeah.
the SMD goes down in formerly K-Bar's base from the Percivals. Tech 3 Air Factory and HQ now under threat.
Yeah, I think once all of those P-gens go down, that's yeah. There we go. Control K comes out. Oh no, that was an actual kill. But yeah, there's not really a whole lot of coming back. I think for Team One in this spot. But it didn't really manage to produce any experimentals or game enders or anything like that. They were sort of holding their own in the Navy, uh, but not really making aggressive moves. I think.
Well, Alligator made several aggressive moves, but I think that they were more of the I'm going to commit seppuku aggressive moves instead of
Yeah.
productive aggressive moves.
Yeah, I think once those Ravagers went down and the Fat Boy came online, I think Team One should have switched to. Well, I think they should have switched to producing air units quite some time ago, to be honest. 'Cause when you don't have any control over the air whatsoever, it really just limits the amount of options you have, if nothing else.
Yeah, well, and that really, I think that lost the game for them. When everything's turned, it was Leroy sniping the SMD and
Mm.
then launching his nuke, and that was, I think, the beginning of the end for team number one.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think someone mentioned the 85k mass killed by the Stone Ager. Pretty impressive. 4 veterancy points. Not bad.
That's what you call value. That's what you call
Yeah.
Sam's Club or Costco value.
That's
Do they have Costco or Sam's in the UK?
no. I was just gonna say that's it's an American reference that I understand out of context, but I don't actually recognize any of those names.
Okay, so they're
I
they're
think I've heard Costco before.
okay. They're like really really big stores that you
Mhm.
have to pay like $80 a year to be a part of. But you can buy everything in bulk at a discount. So
Oh
you'll
wow.
like, as cough now control Ks as T3 units come in. But anyway, as you can roll in and buy like 100 hamburger patties or something like that, and
Yeah.
pay like $35 or $30 or something. So it's like you pay and then you have to buy a shitload, but
Yeah,
it,
it's a
it,
proper
it
like
works out.
brand loyalty
Yeah.
type situation. Yeah, makes sense.
Anywho,
Uh,
let's talk about the game. So I'd like to hear your opinions on what Team One could have done a little bit differently. I know we talked about it a little bit, but close us out there.
yeah, so I think the main thing, like we talked about, the air game just had such a huge impact. I was expecting Navy to have more of an impact, but to be honest, both teams went into Navy fairly early on, and there was just kind of a standoff. So neither team could get cruisers into the backs of the enemy base. So it was really just down to the land and air. And again, had a bit of a land standoff on both sides of the map. So it came down to that massive 100% air advantage that Team Two had. And I think if Team One had built even a few ASFs earlier on, they could have stayed in the game. Had a few more options, but they just kind of territory was dwindling, and they weren't building T4 units that they needed, while Team Two was doing all of that.
Yeah, I think Air kind of sums it up. I think it was Alligator trying to do too many different things, and then K-Bar doing the wrong things. So K-Bar
Hmm.
going into the Navy, and then Alligator tried to do, I think, everything.
Yeah.
And I think that was, running in too many directions at the same time and doing none of them super well.
Yeah, it's interesting because even in lower rated games, I can't remember who started off as the air player in this game on Team One. Was it Alligator or was it
It was K-Bar.
it was K-Bar? Okay, I mean, yeah, I'm surprised that he didn't start producing air and going hard on the eco straight away. 'Cause that's on a settings game that's exactly what happens with the air players. So I'm surprised at that, but
Yeah.
I think it's meta for a reason. You can try and theory craft and try and change the meta, try and make the game a bit more interesting, and you can certainly find new things that other people haven't thought of to do. But sometimes the meta just is the correct way to do things, unfortunately.
Yep. So, as we close it out, Sam, is there anything you'd like to say to my audience as we close?
Thanks for having me. Mostly, I tried casting a couple of years ago, and I didn't really have time to keep up with it. But I've got from now until September basically to chill out, and I've got a bit of time before starting uni, so I'm going to be casting pretty regularly. So check out my videos if you have time. But yeah, thanks, Duelist.
Yeah, absolutely. You better thank me. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like Sam said, check out his channel. I'll have it linked down in the description below. He's got some FAF casts, and if you guys are like me, you can never get enough of this shit. So go check out his videos as well. And with that, I'll leave you guys to it. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Awesome. Bye.